Yep.
Okay, so we're going to be going over the 2017, I believe this one is, 2017, no it's not. Yeah, 2017 FRQ. It is the long FRQ, so it's FRQ number 1. It's about a natural monopoly. All right, so we'll get right to it. L&P Power, natural monopoly, supplying electricity. They're producing in a profit maximizing quantity, and they're earning a positive economic profit. All right, so an important thing to identify here is that this is a natural monopoly as compared to a regular monopoly. So there are some differences that we'll go over throughout our explanation here. All right, so starting off A, I'm actually going to skip A for now. I'm going to do B first. Then I can go back to A and explain a little bit more. So B, we're going to draw a correctly labeled graph for the natural monopoly in which L&P Power operates and show each of the following: the profit maximizing quantity, price, and shade-in profit. And it tells us it's positive economic profit here. All right? So this is a graph. This is a natural monopoly graph right here. And one thing to do when you get a chance is compare a natural monopoly graph with, I drew a regular monopoly graph over here as well. You don't need this for the question, right? But there are differences between the two. So to answer this question correctly, you're going to need to know the differences between the natural and the regular monopoly. All right, and it really has to do with the ATC curve and the marginal cost curve. You still have your downward sloping demand and marginal revenue separate. So if you drew that correctly, you got a point. All right, but your ATC, you want to have your ATC decreasing within the range of demand. So when we say within the range of demand, we mean all the way up to the demand curve. So you want to have both your ATC and your MC, your marginal cost, decreasing within the range of demand. And the marginal cost is going to be below that ATC. So you would have received a couple more points if you did that correctly. But that's the tricky part. That's the tricky part about this graph, is getting those curves right. Because most people are just going to go right to that regular monopoly graph like this, where you see it's different. Eventually, this marginal cost is going to intersect through the ATC, but it's beyond the demand curve here. All right. Then they asked to identify the profit maximizing quantity. That's still going to be where MC equals MR. So you bring that down, you have your quantity, monopoly, M, then bring that up to demand, you're going to get your price, M. So there's another point there. You identified the profit maximizing quantity and price. Then the area shading economic profit, you want to do where ATC, where the profit maximizing quantity hits ATC, up to the price. And just shade in that area, identify it as profit, because it's not a loss, it's a profit. All right, so that would have been another point there for shading completely. All right, now let's go back to A here. Describe a condition that distinguishes a natural monopoly from a typical monopoly. So that's what we just kind of looked at here, right? So one of them, or something you could have wrote, economies of scale. That would have given you the point for this. All right, economies of scales, where you have decreasing cost as your output increases. And that's what we see according to this ATC and marginal cost within that range of demand. All right, so another characteristic would be that the ATC is decreasing within range of demand. You wouldn't need to have all these things, you just need to have one of them. Or you could say the marginal cost is decreasing within range of demand. Okay, so that would have been A. Any one of those would have given you the point for A. We did the graph already, so now let's jump down to C. The government wants to regulate L&P to produce the maximum quantity that will allow it to earn zero economic profit. So here you want to go back to your graph and show on your graph where the quantity and the price, where this firm would have zero economic profit. So here, it doesn't matter, like parts of this, it didn't matter. Say you drew it incorrectly like the regular Monopoly, you would still get some points here, right? As long as you identified the right profit maximizing quantity, you showed the profit box, you still would have gotten points. This one, you would still get points, whether you drew it correctly or incorrectly, as long as you identified ATC and price, right? Wherever, so this is zero economic profit, right? So wherever ATC equals price, that's going to be zero economic profit. So you go ahead and mark that, Q, R, and then bring it across, PR. So you would have gotten your point there. D, the government wants to regulate to produce allocatively efficient. So allocatively efficient is going to be different. Allocatively efficient is where marginal cost equals price. So on our graph, marginal cost equals price right here, where it intersects with demand. Remember, because demand is price. They're not asking you to label anything, but you want to look at that point and say, okay, is there a positive economic profit here? No, because the price is below the ATC. So the answer to this is going to be no. There's no economic profit. It's not going to be positive. It's going to be a loss because price is below average total cost. Right, so that would be D. I, no, because price is less than ATC. Second part, under what condition will LMP agree to produce the allocatively efficient quantity? Subsidy. A government subsidy, right? A payment from the government to make up for this cost, to get them to zero economic profit. The government would pay whatever this space is here. All right? So there's your long FRQ from 2017. Check it, score it, revise, annotate, like, subscribe. Peace.